There once was a man named Gold Roger who was king of the pirates. He had fame, power, and wealth beyond your wildest dreams. Before they hung him from the gallows, these were the final words he said.
Our perspective is yours for the taking, but you'll have to join us first. We left everything we debated at the Yonko table.
Ever since, pirates from all over the world set sail for the Grand Line, searching for the Yonko table, the table that will make their dreams come true.
Yo, folks, welcome to the latest and the greatest from the Yonko table. That is the voice of Grandmaster Hoop coming at you. What am I coming at you from? I don't know.
You don't know.
I'm a top of Shadowfax, one of the last of the great horses, because we're riding back into Middle Earth to discuss Lord of the Rings of Power. Yes, that's right, folks. It's episode 4 of the hit Amazon Prime series that takes us back into the world of Lord of the Rings.
It's episode Hobbit. 4 or 5?
This is episode 4.
Oh goodness! Wow, I thought it was episode 5.
No. Episode 4. It pretty much caught up with Game of Thrones essentially.
Oh, maybe that's what I was thinking of. I was getting Game of Thrones.
Yeah, Game of Thrones would be episode 5, coming up this Sunday. But yes, we're here to talk about the Rings of Power and all that was revealed in the latest. Because some stuff happened. Some Easter eggs and callbacks to the overall lore of Lord of the Rings. Some build up to a giant conflict that will definitely will be quite the set piece, and some smaller moments, but all in all, we got you. With me as always, you heard him earlier, fellow Yonko, DrJaceAttorney. DrJaceAttorney, are you still out here? Is the Rings of Power your precious, or are you tossing it into the fire?
Those are two extremes.
It's very.
It's either I'm loving it 100% or I hate it. It's not canon. I
didn't mean for extremes.
I'm liking it. What I say, like I'm all like into it. I mean, there's just certain segments where I kind of zoned out a little bit, and we kind of talked about it a little bit before we started recording. You know, some plot threads that we were like, who cares about this? But we'll talk about those. But whenever stuff was happening, that's where I kind of tuned in again. I'm like, oh, okay, they discovered this, or these two characters met, or this character finally went to this area. Of course, my least favorite plot thread was not in this episode.
Yeah, it did not make an appearance. Yes, I know.
They did not. The cat's out the bag. What's her name again?
Nori.
Nori. There was no, and I made it a point because I said it the last episodes 1, 2, and 3. I was like, I am not a fan of this Nori plot thread. I just don't like Nori. I know some people are trying to make comparison to she's just like Frodo. I'm like, no, she's not.
You're being mean.
Elijah Wood hits different. Say what you will about Frodo the character, I was still invested in Frodo. I'm sorry, Elijah Wood. But that I noticed it. It was like, wow. They what plot thread is not present right now? Because we only have 20 minutes left on this episode, and I was like, bam, it's Nori. She's not in this. Good.
I mean, again, it's in typical Lord of the Rings fashion, multiple storylines, a large cast. Some people aren't going to make the cut. That's okay. I wasn't too upset that Nori wasn't here. I'm still giving her story a shot, but I will say, I guess maybe these other stories are a tad more interesting because more is happening. So I think they're definitely more. They got my attention, and like you said, some segments I definitely kind of slept on. Not literally, figuratively, but
I sleep.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of, why is this here? Like, let's focus on something else. But here, let's get into it. And I think the best way to start this off, I think here in episode 4, I think we're establishing kind of what the culminating thing or culminating event will be. And I take it all these pieces are moving or will be moving towards the Southlands and a great conflict against the rising orc army growing in the Southlands. Do you get that vibe too? Is that kind of where it's headed?
That's what I feel like it is, because man, the guy's name, Hallbrand. Man, I don't know what it is. Some names I like pick up on like immediately, and there's no question afterwards. Other ones, Hallbrand.
That's got to be one of the easier names.
I remember Celebrimbor.
Hallbrand is 2 words, 2 actual words. Hall and brand. Come on.
I don't know. Maybe because he hasn't like. I mean, he's done stuff, but like he needs to make bigger moves. I know Galadriel now because, I mean, she really wants to, amass this army to go out into the Southlands.
Yeah, the Southlands, yeah. And
stop the rising threat that is Sauron, or whatever's building up over there. She knows something's building in the Southlands, and she knows Hallbrand is going to be the key to amassing some type of army to match that, because like she said in this episode and what was mentioned last week, he is the lost heir to the throne in the Southlands, right?
He's not just some smithy I forgot the word. Yes, he is the heir. Yes.
Right. And it's like, wow, what are the odds that, you went adrift in the ocean and
in
you
the
came
middle
across,
of the ocean,
in the middle of the ocean, the wide sea, and you just stumbled across the key to your initiative to amassing an army. But again, they always talk about fate and the gods intertwining fate into everyone's directions. So maybe it's just, gods doing God things.
Do they have gods? Do they have gods? Have they like openly said?
I feel like, you know what? I don't know if they ever referenced gods directly, but I feel like they have to have some kind of deities. You don't have a mythical realm like Lord of the Rings and not have something like that.
I mean, now that we talk about, I swear I've never in any Lord of the Rings mythos, I can't recall talks of like a higher power, a god.
I feel like I'm gonna look it up. That's what I like about these talks. If I didn't really enjoy the episode, or if I enjoyed segments of it, when we talk about it, I always like looking up just random facts. Like, you know what? Do they worship gods? Are there gods and deities in Lord of the Rings? So that's always interesting to see. Kind of like how we confirmed, how long ago this series takes place. We established already 3,000 years, and it kind of puts things into perspective. So apparently, I think there are gods, and they are referred to as the Valar. Are they the Valar?
Okay, the Valar. I think I've heard that phrase.
Yeah,
been used.
They were the powers of Arda who shaped and ruled the world. They sounded like people that actually like physically manifested on, like these weren't just people just floating in the sky, right? And like, granting blessings and all that stuff. They seem to actually have existed physically on land, and they, did their godly things. But there are deities in this mythos. So that's interesting.
I mean, good to know. I really never thought about it. And I think this show does a good job at kind of peeling layers back. Speaking on the conflict of the Southlands, the orcs. We kind of, got some inner workings of the orcs as far as they kind of worship Adar, who was alluded to last week.
Right.
who I guess is not Sauron so far as we know.
For what we know.
For what we know. But he is the All-Father.
Right.
And they bow before him, and it's almost like, you know, he there was the one orc who was dying, and he grants him a mercy kill. And
man, he was like, I felt there was some compassion in there, but like just the way he dug it, the blade in, I was just like, man, you couldn't. I don't know. I mean, they're orcs. I guess they can take it. It just
well, quick and swift, because
quick and swift. You're right. You're right.
He's in pain.
Right. He's not like digging it around saying, I'm evil.
Right.
It was quick and swift. You're right. Yeah.
But to your point, though, you said compassion. I felt compassion. He kind of looked in his eyes.
To get, you know, soothed his head and everything.
Yeah, I feel that's a side of orcs we've never seen. You know,
is that breaking canon?
I don't think it's. I don't know if it's breaking
this
canon.
Is breaking canon. You can't be having orcs show compassion.
I don't know why.
To be fair, it wasn't an orc that showed compassion. It was
true.
Whoever this is. We don't know. I mean, he had pointy ears, so elfish related.
Elfish, yeah.
Right.
And he spoke the tongue.
Right. The second we see an orc showing that kind of compassion, then that's when you're like, okay, well, hold on. What's going on here? I don't understand this.
I'm just saying, you know, I feel this episode was really painting kind of like a, I don't know, like a grandiose scheme of, you know, talk about deities. We're gonna talk about what you call dreams and what is it called, visions in a second. But now we have, you know, these orcs kind of in their culture and their customs. Because I mean, but if I were to go off of Lord of the Rings, you know, if someone's dying, it's like, looks like meat's back on the menu, boys.
Wait, was that a line from one of the
That's
movies?
a line from the Two Towers.
Wow, the orc said that.
Yes.
Wow.
So, but then this orc is dying and nobody is, you know, like, oh, let's eat. It's kind of, oh no.
Oh wait, they said it to one of their own.
Yes, they said that to one of their own. Yes. Yes.
Wow. Okay.
And you know, interesting juxtaposition here, because here they are like, oh, he's dying. Adar, all father, take care of him, send him on, you know. So
well, I mean, the question is, you know, if Adar did not show up, if he wasn't in the area, would they have gone the direction that you just said, where reach back on the menu, boy? And they just start chowing down on this guy. I wouldn't say that they're different. I don't know, like, you know how the orcs in the Lord of the Rings, they were like of a very dark complexion, like mud related almost. But
yeah, they're like born in mud. Yeah.
Right. These I mean, they're orcs still, but like they're more gray. They're more like a grayish, a lighter color. Maybe they're not of the cannibalistic nature yet. Maybe they're not there yet. They're not like.
You think they're a little more civilized?
A little bit. I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm going back into like my nostalgia for the Lord of the Rings series. Aside from Sauron leading the orcs, I feel like the orcs were kind of directionless for the most part. They were just kind of like blah, 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 and they just they would go bananas. But you have here, you know, Adar is the one leading them, but you know, they have these labor camps pretty structured, pretty, you know, they got everything laid out. They got the
shade.
They got the shade. They got the chains all meshed well.
They got a network of tunnels. They
know not to break the backs of their own. They're like, hey, why should we do this hard work? Let's just capture some elves and have them do it for us.
They got a system.
They have a system. Place. If you had told me the orcs from the trilogy would orchestrate this, I wouldn't believe you.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't believe it either. Not alone. They need somebody else leading the charge.
Exactly.
But all in all, I think the orcs shall be interesting to watch moving forward if they dare to show us more of kind of these inner workings. So Adar, he he speaks the tongue. He leaves the message saying to Arondir, hey, give up your land, which is, I guess, the rest of the Southlands.
Right.
And we'll spare your people. And
he just lets him go. He just
lets him go.
I'm very surprised he just does that. Again, we don't know the motivations for Adar. I don't know if he has compassion for other people or only compassion for orcs. But it just seemed off that he just let Arundir just leave. He was the one that caused that pain and that chaos with the with the labor camp. And in the last episode, they tried to orchestrate a big escape. He messed up some of the orcs. He killed that dog. Didn't he kill the dog creature or
the warg? Yeah, he killed.
He killed.
There's another warg, but
there's another one.
He killed that warg. Yes.
He was a disruption to their operation, and
he probably set them 2 days back.
That in 2 days, that's a lot for an orc and like a labor.
It can add up.
It adds up. So he's just like, all right, I'm gonna let you go to deliver a message. I mean, I don't know. I don't. Maybe he thought he could survive the harsh lands to make it over there because he took on his entire squadron. He's like, hey, if we let you go, you'll probably actually survive delivering this message. I don't know. It just seemed off that he was like, all right, you're free to go. Go on.
Maybe that's his nature. Maybe we'll peel back more of him moving forward because I don't know. Arondir hasn't told anybody when he got back that this dude is elfish.
Nothing yet. Right.
I imagine once they reveal this guy and they say he's an elf, heads will probably turn and more reason to hate elves. We hate elves. There's a lot of elf hating here.
Oh my
this
God.
Episode.
That's what the episode opened up with. I don't know. I don't know if you ever seen that episode of South Park where it's a bunch of rednecks complaining about the minorities in their town, and they're like, they took our germs. They took our germs. You never seen that episode? It's really old.
No.
I mean, it's a bunch of people getting upset because like the minorities, they're getting occupations like in construction and contracting and all that stuff. So the rednecks of the town, they're mad at that because now they're losing the jobs. So it's a skit that South Park has played to this day. Like even today, even though the episode is old, if a minority gets referenced about like, oh, he got the job over me, the redneck will reference, he took my job. Like, so in the beginning of this episode of Rings of Power, literally that's what was playing in my head, where you had that dude chanting with the other men and the rest of the workers in there saying, these elves come into our land and they are stealing our work, they took our germs.
Now the queen consorts with the elf maiden.
I'm like, there was one elf. Like I thought there was like a mini time skip. I thought there was a mini time skip because this man was making it seem like a mass immigration of elves came to Numenor. And I was like, oh, wait, so it's been like a couple years. Did more elves come to Numenor and like settle there? And by the end of it, I forget his name, the guy with the beard.
I don't even know that guy's name.
I'll call him the Council of the Queen because he seems to be, or the Captain of the Guard. Maybe he's the Captain of the Guard. But just the guy with the beard, he's the one that comes in and he's like, one elf came onto our shores. Why you gotta be stupid?
But no, he roused those people up. No,
he was the one the guy with the beard. No,
yeah, the guy with the beard.
No,
he was like,
he told him to stop. So there was two separate guys. There was the guy that was like on the stand, he was just like a random NPC. He was basically saying they took our jobs.
Oh, yes, that guy. That's the guy who I think got in a fight with Hallbrand. That's one of those guys.
Oh, it was?
Yes, because he was beat up. Yeah.
Oh, that's why he had bruises. He had bruises on his face. Okay.
Yes,
okay. I didn't know that. All right. So that was one of the dudes Hallbrand beat up. But then the bearded guy, who I'm guessing either the captain of the guard or the Queen's Council, whatever, he comes in and he starts making fun of the dude, because I guess I'm making fun of him, but he's like mocking everyone there that's like getting all excited about, yeah, let's go get these elves. He's like, guys, one elf came here to our shores. This is the kingdom of man. Like, relax. Like, don't stop this. And he basically reassured them to like just stop worrying about this. One elf came to our shore, and this is Numenor, the kingdom of man, the one that, you know, fought against Morgoth back in the days of old, and, you know, all the typical, you know, high fantasy thing where they spiel all their titles, all their accomplishments, for, you know, to rally up people. So he calmed down the crowd to not let them freak out that the queen was conspiring with an elf. The elvish people are going to take our jobs. Because he even said that. He's like, our jobs require us to, like, you know, make make armor, make weapons, stuff like that. But these elves, they're immortal and they last a lot longer than us. They can work for days, years. Their stamina is different and they live forever. So he's building up the elves as like, listen, these guys are very competent workers. They can replace us. I see, you know what, even saying it out loud now, I could see some of the similarities of, like, you know, real world connections, kind of like how we tied in Orundir, you know, being black and also being part of the elves. And it's like two sides that are also being prejudiced, because the elves are being prejudiced, but then also, you know, people being prejudiced against African Americans. So Arundir is playing two sides of that in reality and in the fantasy realm. So for this one, I thought the elves were supposed to represent something like that, where you have these people saying, hey, this immigration is coming into our land of Numenor. Is it Numenor? It's Numenor.
Numenor,
right?
Yeah.
Numenor. We got to stop it. It's freaking us out. We got to stop it. And you have to have someone come in and just reassure them, like, listen, it's not that big of a deal. Just relax.
I guess you put it in perspective for me, because I was
really, you didn't see it.
I thought he was. I just rewatched it now while you're talking. I was looking at what he was saying. Yeah, he definitely calmed them down, reassured them that Numenor will remain under the, you know, the hand of the men, he was saying. And no.
Do you think that's alluding to anything?
I mean, no, not anything. It was weird. Again, they have all this elf hate, and the elves gave them this city. Y'all need to
They didn't
down.
give it to them. They earned it with their
they
blood.
Earned it. But the elves made it. The elves made it. So it's fine. I was just so taken aback. But you know, back in Numenor, a couple other things, like a Isildur gets kicked out of the boating school. Didn't pass his boat test like SpongeBob.
That I don't know. Now that I know who he is since our last talk, every time I see someone like say his name, I just in my head, Isildur!
Isildur! You have to.
That's funny. Wow.
Interestingly enough, he's a big character, but I feel his story so far is pretty lukewarm.
Yeah, he's just trying to make it into the boating school.
Boating school. Let's call it boating school.
We'll call it boating school. I know it goes beyond just, you know, it's boating school, but for the sake of discussing his plot thread, it's boating school.
They've definitely told him, hey, you're out. You can't go. You can't get your boating license. You and your friends, you're out here.
Wow. Yeah, he tried to at least cover for them, and it's like, no,
he did.
Nope.
He's a good guy. He's protective of his friends.
For
but,
now.
For now.
For
now.
now.
Okay, I found this part to be interesting as far as I guess the queen of Numenor had a vision of the drowning, the flooding of Numenor. I don't think we see sometimes we get visions in Lord of the Rings. This one was quite vivid, but it started with the arrival of an elf. So this is also adds to the kind of elf hate and whatnot. I actually liked what was going on here. Sometimes I get bored with Galadriel's story because it's just kind of her talking up the same tree.
Well, yeah, like her delivery for the most part, for the most part, is kind of just the same. Like she's very stone cold, very serious, and I get it. That's the character. But like when you notice something like that of a character and they just have like they never go beyond that portion of their character, it's like you start to notice certain traits. So like for example with Galadriel, I started to notice that the actress, whenever she's giving certain lines to show how serious and stone cold Galadriel is, she'll talk through her teeth.
Yes.
So she'll be like it's gonna be so hard to visualize this only in audio, but like she'll be like Sauron is coming to the Southlands. I can't do it. You know what I mean? Like her lips will barely move, and like it's just her teeth. Like she's talking through her teeth.
If you wish to stay here, then you will die. The Southlands need a king. Sauron is here. It's undeniable.
Give me an eye, I'll find one for you. Like, but you see, like I don't get that with anyone else. It's just her.
I mean, it like works in her favor because I feel she's always. I mean, even in Lord of the Rings, Cate Blanchett played the original Galadriel. I remember her being very stoic and very, short and in her words and whatnot, but also, kind of direct. I mean, again, her scenes are like very few, but what I liked here is my background.
What's it called? The seer, overseer,
the Palantir.
But it's one of
of 7 seeing stones.
Seeing stones. That's what it was. That's what I was trying to figure out.
Yes.
So is that something that was is that something that you're familiar with in Lord of the Rings canon?
Yes. Do you not remember the Palantirs?
I don't.
Should I give you a brief history?
Oh wait, was one of them okay, wait, hold on. Was one of them, because I'm getting a brain blast.
Come on.
Okay, God, what's the actor's name? Oh my God. Count Dooku.
Christopher Lee.
Right, Saruman.
Yep.
I remember a scene where like he's sitting in the tower and he has an orb in front of him, right? And he's doing this weird thing with his hand.
One.
Okay.
He has one, yes.
That's a seeing stone. Okay.
Yes. I remember the first time you see it is like, Gandalf goes to Saruman to, counsel him because he thinks he found the ring. And then Saruman's like, let us look into the Palantir. And Gandalf's like, Gandalf says, Saruman, you know how dangerous this is if all the other seeing stones are not accounted for. And then he briefly brushes his hand on it and he sees the eye of Sauron.
Right.
I like when they bring in stuff like this. I loved when I saw that. I literally a Palantir. Because, well, in the Lord of the Rings, we only seen the one. There's 7 of them.
Did they mention there were 7 in Lord of the Rings also? Right.
I don't think he said there were 7, but he said there were not
others.
all. there were others and they were not accounted for, and because they're not
Okay.
accounted for, they're dangerous because of it's like a mirror, or I don't know, a mirror. You can see through it and they can see what you're doing.
Oh, it's dangerous because you don't know who has the other
Exactly.
ones. So when you
Exactly.
touch it, someone that might be your enemy might have another one,
Yes.
and they'll see like, ooh, I see what you're doing. Does that?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
Got it. So, but this one was like a vision of the future.
Right. Which, okay, so, going off of kind of logic, I think they can be like tainted or they can project images depending on who's on the other side of one, So
Okay.
whether that vision is true of the flooding of Numenor, I don't know. But I think when you bring in something like this, it's part of the mythos that it's like people are expecting characters and character relations more so than anything when it comes to prequels and whatnot.
Right.
This is a really cool part of the mythos that I think I like seeing the mythos be built in a story centered around the mythos. So, obviously we're getting the Rings of Power. But these right here, with 3,000 years before the original films, it's like, what the hell could happen between now and 3,000 years with these kind of acting as, a guiding force
Right.
for whatever motives whoever has one has.
Right. They kind of remind me, not in the same sense, but like because they're like orbs. They remind me of like the apples of Eden from Assassin's Creed a little bit. All powerful little balls that they're just powerful. They're dangerous and the wrong hands.
Right.
So okay. I didn't know that they were from Lord of the Rings proper. I'm
Yes,
sorry, the movie. I didn't know they showed them before in the movies.
they did. Oh, and then again, a test to their power. In Return of the King, Gandalf, when the destruction of Isengard, he collected the Palantir, and Pippin, remember Pippin touched it, and he communicated with Sauron, and Sauron was asking him, about the ring, and like Frodo, but he didn't tell him anything. So if a darker entity has one,
Right. Okay.
opens the door.
It does.
I like that.
Nice.
Yeah. So from here, what? They're ready to help now. Numenor.
Well, they're not ready to help right away.
I don't. What? Did some kind of convincing?
Well, I mean, because they had that back and forth with because at first, Galadriel wanted to go seek counsel with the king, her father.
He's sickly.
He's sickly. From what I don't know if I missed it, but I don't think they said what he's sick from.
If they did, I missed it too. Yeah.
So they didn't mention anything as to why he's sick, but again, even seeing the king like this, she keeps asking like, "Hey, let's do this army thing. Let's do it." And the queen's like, "No." And so like she's all set on having, sailing Galadriel back to the elves.
Right. With an escort.
An armed escort. And she does that. She literally puts her on the boat to sail her back, but then the white leaves start falling.
Oh, right. The white leaves.
Right. And that's where you get kind of like the monologue of like what it means when the white leaves start to fall. And that's where you see that complete 180. Now it's like, oh, okay, hold on. You may have spat some facts with me, Galadriel, but that tree over there, them leaves are a different story.
If it weren't for that goddamn tree, you'd be on a ship hauling your ass back to Middle Earth with no escort, no army, But that tree got your back.
Can you imagine if that tree did not have had the leaves fall? Like how screwed everyone would be? Oh
Thank
my
God for the
goodness.
tree. Thank God for the tree.
Wow. I am speechless. Oh my
I mean,
goodness.
that's the cool
Oh my
mysticism.
damn.
Isn't that the cool mysticism of it all?
Right. Yeah. It's something where it's like that just didn't happen by chance. That was something that was meant to happen to put people on edge and have them realize, hey, you need to make a move. This is not an accident.
It's very prophetic.
Right. That's the
yeah.
word, prophetic.
I just looked it up. I was like, is that a word? It works.
Prophetic.
It's very prophetic. So now I will escort Galadriel and she's gonna lead, right? She's gonna lead them into battle too.
Well, what's the deal with that? Like she's escorting her, because at first I didn't know what she meant. She made it seem like I'm escorting her. So first it was, I'm not sending an army. Screw you. And I'm going to have an armed escort. I'm going to send you back to the elves with an armed escort. That's it. I'm not helping with this, whatever the hell you're thinking is going to happen, because it's not. I'm not doing that. But then when she changes her mind, she then is like, I will attend that escort as well to personally deliver her back. So at first I'm like, oh, so she's just going to join the escort to get her back to where she needs to go. But then she mentioned the army at the end of that. And I was like, wait, so you are going to send an army? Is that, I mean, I don't know. Like she is getting an army, right? She is.
Yeah, they said, I'm an army or whoever wants to come. Cause it was,
she's sending help. She's sending help.
She said, any man or woman,
right? And
to be the Queen Regent's protection. So this is just, I mean, she's going, but yeah, it's kind of volunteer. It's not necessarily. I guess it's not really an army.
Okay, so it's not an army. Okay.
Yeah, but she's trying to assist and aid. She says to aid her elven brethren.
Okay, so that's what it was then. It was
our mortal brethren.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's, there's no confirmation of an army yet, but she is attending herself to see matters are resolved and if an army would be potentially needed. And
yeah.
Okay. And
that's they called it an expeditionary force. So this is not necessarily.
That was in her speech at the end.
It's in the guy speech with the beard, her council. And he's like, the Queen's Regent will need protection. The Queen Regent will need protection to be made up of brave sons and daughters of Numenor. So, yeah, it's not an army force. Not an army force.
Okay. Got it.
It may amount to that, depending. I mean, a lot of people look to be volunteering.
Well, yeah, we got some heavy hitters joining in that.
Isildur and crew.
Isildur!
His friends look a little reluctant to be doing this. They just wanted to pass boating school.
And it's Isildur's fault. They started throwing slurs at him and saying things about his mother.
His dead mother. Goodness gracious.
Yeah. Like, goddamn, man, it's just boating school. Just do something else. Become a smithy or something.
Yeah, it's not that deep, man.
Goodness.
But yeah, they're moving. We're leaving Numenor. I imagine maybe the next episode we might be on the seas, or we might be right back in Middle Earth. But I think the Southlands is where everyone's going to converge.
So before we leave Numenor to like some of the other plot threads, do you know what was going on between, I think it's Isildur's sister
and that guy?
And the guy, yeah. What was that? What was that plot thread? Like, where was that going somewhere? Is that? I kid you not. During those segments, I zoned out. I was like,
I zoned out too.
Wow.
I mean, half of it was me asking myself, wait, that's the Isildur's sister, right? And that,
No, I had to keep asking myself that too, because I didn't. At first I thought it was a new character. I thought it was like a new character that they're introducing right now. But then as the episode went on, I was like, wait, that's his sister. So what's going on here? I don't understand. Like, is this a guy? He's not an elf, right? He's not an elf. The guy that's flirting with her.
He's the son of that guy, the council who was pushing, to stop the elf hate.
The bearded guy. He's the son of that guy. Okay.
Yeah. At least he called him his son.
That was the guy he was walking with before he calmed that crowd down. That guy was walking with his son.
Yeah.
Right. And he was saying my God, cleverness is for oh man, the quote that he said.
Did he say? Oh no, I was thinking of someone else.
No, he said something like, cleverness is for like young men or something. I prefer that you be wise instead.
Yeah, I remember that.
Something along those lines. So okay, so that was his son, and the son is trying to get it in with the Isildur's sister, I guess. I don't know what to take from him, because that's all they gave me this episode. He was just flirting with the Isildur's sister. A Isildur's sister saying Baka, and she's running away. I don't know what's going on with this. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with this.
It didn't catch my attention to pay closer attention. So
okay,
maybe oh God, I don't know. Maybe it'll amount to something. Cleverness is for men of small ambition. That's what he says.
There we go.
Yes. So
cleverness is for men with small ambition. I prefer that you be wise.
My son.
But
yeah, not really. It's here. I'm like, there are cooler things happening on Numenor for myself. I will pay attention if they keep bringing it up, but it's there, I guess.
It's there. I slept on it. If it blossoms into something in the next episode, then okay, I'll look back and be like, oh, okay, that's where this was starting, or that's where this was leading to. But you got more cool stuff happening in like Numenor itself, and then even in the mountains with the dwarves.
In Khazad-dûm, back with Elrond. Missed him last week in Durin and Disa.
So they were not at all in last week's episode, right?
No,
no. Okay.
They were not in last week's episode.
Got it.
So they return here proper. Your boy, Celebrim, how do you say his name?
Celebrimbor.
Say it again.
Celebrimbor.
Celebrimbor. He feels
it's an easy name. Like, why can't you understand?
I got it now. Celebrimbor.
Okay. We'll see next week.
Celebrimbor wants Elrond to he feels the dwarves are keeping him in the dark. Right?
They are, yeah. We saw allusions to that in episode 2 when once Durin the son, dude, I don't remember which one's Durin, the fourth, the third, whatever, but
there's King Durin and Prince Durin.
Prince Durin, he warmed up to Elrond by the end of episode 2. So now they're buddy for the most part. But at the end of that episode, that's when you see that the dwarves have something else that they're holding a secret. And it's something they're like, I don't care who you bring here. You ain't telling your elvish friend about this that we got back here. You don't see what it is, but you know it's something the dwarves are very protective of.
Yes, but Celebrimbor feels they're purposely being kept in the dark. I mean, Elrond, he's friends with Durin. He's not really questioning it, but now he's kind of on this mission to find out what it is, which is an interesting play here for Elrond, because he does find out what it is, but he swears he's not going to tell anybody else, and he wants excuse me, oh my gosh, he wants the dwarf labor to assist.
Right.
So Shoot, let's just get into what I mean. Right? There's nothing else here. Just really kind of
They
what
found
did they
Mithril.
find? They
found
found Mith.
Mithril.
Your kind. Let's call it Mith something.
I didn't know Mithril was that important of a mineral in Lord of the Rings. I mean, I've heard of I've heard of this mineral in almost every fantasy mythos has some kind of Mithril, to varying forms of rarity. Like it's a mineral to sometimes make weapons, to make armor. It's used as an ore to build like structures. It's always different. So in Lord of the Rings mythos, I didn't know Mithril was this new, like unheard of, untapped mineral, or this untapped ore that was never discovered until a certain time period. So that's new to me. Now, I don't know if that's Amazon, changing canon and doing what everyone's mad at them about, like, how dare you do this to the Lord of the Rings, you mythos. I don't know. But how did you feel about, the concept of, like, I know it's important because, like, wasn't there like a chainmail that Frodo got?
That's what I was gonna say.
Okay.
One, I didn't know Mithril was like an ore that the dwarves discovered. I always thought it was elvish.
Okay.
Well, the name itself is elvish as far as what we as fans know it better as. But yeah, the only instance of Mithril is Frodo's shiny shirt.
So that was the only Mithril like
that is the only piece. As far as the movies, I don't know about the books or expanded. That was the biggest piece of Mithril at all. It was a big deal. Bilbo gave Frodo the Mithril chainmail. Yeah, and it's as hard as dragon scale. But light as a feather.
I do. Okay, I do remember them selling it like that.
Yes.
Okay.
But that was it. As far as, if it plays any other bigger, I mean, it's structurally definitely like would be an advantage if everyone had Mithril based armor or chainmail or whatever it may be. But yeah, we don't really know the extent of. Did it serve a bigger purpose? Was everybody rocking Mithril? Did Mithril run out?
Well, okay. So, and again, I like doing this because you learn more about what potentially certain things will lead to. So I was looking this up, and so Mithril was extremely rare by the end of the Third Age, right? Right now we're in the Second Age, I think.
Oh, we're in the Second Age. Okay.
I think we're in the Second Age. And the reason why it was really rare is because it was only found in Khazad-dûm. Is that the name of the mountain? Khazad-dûm.
Which is where we currently are.
And apparently, the reason why it became a rarity was because the dwarves mined for it too much. They were too greedy with the Mithril. And when they got too greedy, that's what ultimately released the Balrog.
Okay, I'm gonna stop you right now. You need to stop. I'm on the same page you are.
That's cool. Come on.
This is gonna be a plot thread. You don't think this is gonna be a plot thread?
I mean, they just discovered it now. I don't see the Balrog.
They might.
I don't know.
The Balrog's in the trailer. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, it is? Okay. See, now you.
Yeah, we talked about. No, we talked about this last week.
There's a Balrog in the trailer?
Hooper TV definitely said this last week.
I know we talked about the Balrog last week. I don't remember mention of a Balrog appearing in the trailer because that.
No, there's no a Balrog. It is the Balrog. It is the same one.
No, there are multiple Balrogs.
Oh, okay. Well, yes, he's in the trailer.
Yeah, about to say, don't go. Actually,
listen,
it's only one Balrog.
They may play loosely with the timeline here, for spectacle. So
I think that's cool. I have this information now. I'm just looking forward to it happening. Like for me, it's not like I can see why it might be a spoiler. It's like, oh well, the dwarves are eventually going to mine for it too much, and they're going to release a Balrog. But we talked about it last week. We did say that they eventually release a Balrog.
But I didn't know it was because they were digging for Mithril, though.
Oh no, because we talked about it last week that they kept digging in the mountain.
No, I know they kept digging, but I didn't know.
You didn't know it was the mineral.
Yeah, I didn't know it was like the obsession, the lust, and the greed for Mithril would eventually lead to this. Spoiler for anybody listening. I mean, if you listen already to this much, well,
oops. It's been in the mythos for 60 years.
But see, this is what I like. We had the Palantir earlier,
right?
And now we have the Mithril, and again, it's kind of setting the stages for a lot of things that are about to take place. And I like lore expansion as far as not just characters, just lore itself. And I think they're doing a pretty good job here exploring that lore. I mean, I don't want to compare it to Game of Thrones, but like right now, Game of Thrones is only really expanding on your knowledge of the families, Right.
They're not playing too. I mean, Game of Thrones is kind of trying to cheesily do the tie-ins to like the prophecies and everything for the eventual Game of Thrones, and we all talked about it on our House of Dragon podcast. Give that a listen, by the way, if you want to tune in for House of Dragon
every Sunday.
But yeah, it's like, I don't know. I feel like Rings of Power is doing enough differently from House of Dragon where it's rewarding you if you happen to remember certain things from Lord of the Rings proper. We had a friend in our group that recently asked, hey, can I watch Rings of Power on its own? Or do I have to watch Lord of the Rings to, be familiar with the series? And we told him, hey, you can watch Rings of Power on its own. Like it does not require you to have watched Lord of the Rings beforehand. I feel like you'll understand what's going on for the most part if you watch Rings of Power on its own. But on the flip side of that, I feel like the series does reward you for knowing certain things from the films. So we know who Isildur ultimately is. That changes your perspective on how he's acting right now or what he'll eventually become. The whole concept of Mithril. That's really cool because we know what it ultimately leads to with the dwarves, and we know at some point it becomes a rarity to where Frodo is getting something like a chainmail, and that's huge. That's a
lot of Mithril in that shiny shirt.
Yeah, I don't remember if it was in Lord of the Rings or in some expansion or whatever. I remember seeing something about Mithril being worth like 10 times more than gold or something like that.
I believe it. Again, It's Frodo got speared and not a scratch.
Not a scratch. No bruises or anything. That thing blocked that. It was from like a giant
from a troll, from a cave troll.
It was from a troll, like with 20 times the muscle mass of Frodo. You would think just the pressure of that thing stabbing him.
It knocked the wind out of him.
For sure.
He definitely collapsed on the floor.
Right.
Not one of his finer moments, but that thing, Aragorn, he said that thing would have took down a giant boar or a wild boar. And, so yeah, it's powerful. And again, like you said, we're being rewarded having known what Mithril is, and it's cool to see kind of the rise and fall of Mithril. We're getting a lot of rise and falls here. We know Mithril is going to be a big thing moving forward, whether people want to exploit it for armor or whatever, but we're eventually going to see it kind of have an effect on people's pride, and we're going to see the end result. I think that's cool. That's a cool build up. Something cool to build up to.
Right. I agree.
Very cool. We'll see where this goes. King Doran is is like, hey, Durin, you got to go to Linden, the elven home, and see what's up, you know. But they
And
are friends. He's in a rock and a hard place.
Does he make him king? No, he
He doesn't make him king. No,
okay,
no.
okay. I thought that's where it was leading to, because the scene was building up as if like, you are king now, Durin, prince, and I thought he was gonna take off his crown and put it on his head. But no, that did not happen. Okay.
But it was nice. It's nice little moments, and with Elrond too. Kind of the whole, you know, they're friends. Their friendship is rocky. Ha ha ha. Dwarf joke, Rocky.
Yes. Put your palm on this rock and swear to me. Swear it.
See, and I like the fact we're getting dwarf culture. Disa was singing about the people who got trapped in the mines and whatnot. But yes, Elrond and Durin had a nice little bro moment talking about fathers and how Elrond wishes he could have spoke to his father. And he's like, use the time you have, you know. Nice moment. But then we're gonna see Durin. He seems kind of conflicted. He wants to be friends with Elrond, but his father is forcing kind of his will on him right now. So we'll see how that plays out. We'll
see.
I like their pairing a lot. Very kind of,
they got a good relationship going on.
Are you getting Gimli Legolas vibes a bit?
Yeah, I can get it. Like, they haven't done anything like battle wise to like sell that, you know, that extra layer that Gimli and Legolas had, but the elf and dwarf becoming best friends, despite their hostility towards each other upon first meeting, it does give off those kind of vibes. So at least see right. Okay, so you see right there, they wanted to elicit Gimli and Legolas. All right, you got me. It's there. I like these two.
Mm-hmm.
With Nori, they're trying to elicit. Oh, remember Frodo? Remember the whimsical Frodo? No, I don't get
and,
that.
And who's her friend? Poppy? Is that supposed to be Sam?
Yeah, you know. Oh my God, yes, it is. Oh wow, I never even made that connection.
They haven't sold me yet. I'll say that much. I'm not sold on them
sold me yet. I don't think they can. But I don't know. We'll see. There is one more plot thread that we haven't talked about.
Oh, flippin' dippity. What is his name? Theo. What a
loser.
It's just a dumb name. I don't know. For Lord of the Rings, it's like,
I don't. Oh, you mean like you got Galadriel?
Isildur. Theo. Theodore. Short for Theodore. Where's Alvin?
Wow. Simon. Where's that? Where are the other chipmunks? Goodness.
Oh boy. He's a troublemaker.
Yeah, he is. What did he go back to the house for? For
get
supplies?
The hilt. To get the hilt.
That's what he went back for? The hilt?
I could have sworn that's what he went back for.
I thought when they left, he wrapped it in like a bag when he...
maybe he did.
Yeah, was he trying to get supplies for the... like, you know, because they were running out of food, I guess? And his mom gave him that speech, like, quit being my headache. Just... For the love of God, just do what you're told so that helps me by itself.
Right.
And he was talking about like food being like short, like, oh, that won't feed us for like only a night or something. And she's like, well, it's a night longer that we'll get to live, so appreciate that. So
I'm looking at it. He's saying, yeah, they needed food, and
so he went back for food.
Someone's cellar. He's talking about.
Okay.
And best time to go is during the day because, you know, orcs are like vampires at this point. They can't, which is interesting. I don't think we've ever, thinking about Lord of the Rings, I mean, Uruk-hai is a different breed of orc, but Uruk-hai were able to run in the sun, no problem.
Maybe that's to do with like the mud, born from mud type of stuff, because like mud's often used as like a coating or a shield against like heat. So like pigs, for example, they bathe in mud so that they get cooled off outside from the sun.
True. I mean, that mud, I don't know if that mud sticks on them, but I was looking at.
No. I don't mean like they slather themselves in mud and then they go
It's just
to
the
war.
fact that they're born from mud.
They're born from mud, so it's like it's like in their pores. It's like it's part of them, so they can
I could buy
withstand
that.
it. Yeah.
I could buy that. This was saying they're the strongest breed of orc, so maybe they can withstand the sun. Maybe, I guess. But either way, yeah, you know, he goes. He brings his little hilt. He encounters an orc like damn near the same way he encountered the orc last time.
Yeah, are orcs supposed to be stupid? Like, is that something in the mythos? I'm actually being serious. Like, are orcs dumb in the Lord of the Rings mythos, or are they as intelligent as like any other species?
I don't think it's ever been emphasized their intelligence level.
The reason I ask, and this could just be poor writing. It could just be poor writing. You had the scene where Theo goes back for the food, right? He encounters an orc. Oh, what a shock.
Oh, not the well. Are you talking about the well?
Yes.
Okay.
That was so dumb. Okay, right. Okay, so hold up. Let's
go
go back
ahead,
a little bit, right?
Go ahead.
So
yeah.
He encounters an orc. He has to defend himself. So he does something with the hilt where he kind of stabs himself on like the handle, the actual handle that he's gripping, that causes the blade to form, and he's able to use it against, you know, the orc. He like cuts him a little bit, and you know, the orc gets pissed. He's like, "Oh, you cheeky bastard!" and he starts chasing him. And so they're in the house. The guy has maybe like 5-second head start because the orc, you know, got cut in the hand. He's like, "Oi, that hurt." And so the guy has a head start. He chases him outside. The kid is gone, disappeared out of nowhere. And the orc's like, "Oi, I found it. It's a boar. He has the hilt. I don't know where he is. Leave no stone unturned." And I'm like, you have a well right there. Why aren't you looking?
I have it pulled up right now. Oh my gosh.
That is the first, literally the kid disappeared within seconds. Look in the well. And then of course you have the thing where, like, you know, he's hiding in the well, and then, you know, he gets some water, the orc gets some water, and he throws the bucket down, and he hears, "Oh." And then the orc, he's like, "Oh." And he walks back and he looks down, he doesn't see anything. And it's like, okay, there might not be anything down there. Shoot an arrow into the water.
Plot armor
man.
at this point. Do you remember in Legend of Zelda Wind Waker when you had to sneak past the guards with a barrel?
The barrels? Yeah.
And the barrel would be right behind the guard, and he'd turn around, huh?
Yes.
That's what this scene reminded me of. Like, you heard him. You heard him.
Yes. You literally heard. And on top of that, I don't know what time of day it was when Theo got there, but they were searching what I'm assuming was for hours in that village. Because
they emphasized the clouds. A thick cloud had rolled in.
Well, okay. So it wasn't nighttime. It
was not nighttime. So him and the other guy get there, and they really emphasized this big cloud. And I guess this cloud just never left.
Yeah, that cloud. Jesus, it made
it
seem like it was night.
It wasn't, but no. Like it turned into night. That's the thing. The cloud came, and they were searching for hours, and then the cloud never left.
Oh my God. Okay, no. Then this has to be bad writing. This is just terrible.
Well, the well was.
The well was
stupid.
Dumb. The orcs were looking for hours. How are you not looking in the one place that most people would hide in if they just escaped your clutches? I just don't. That's why I was like, is there something with orcs that they're dumb? Because maybe there is something where orcs are really not that intelligent, and they don't know how to make those connections. Like, for example, trolls in the mythos, they are actually dumb. They're actually dumb. So,
just point them in the direction.
Exactly. So I don't know if it's the same thing with orcs. And I asked myself that when I saw this. So I'm thinking like, well, I don't know.
No,
that pulled me out.
No, it was bad. It was a bad scene because I was like, he hurt him. And even when he like kind of like, I was like, oh my God, did he climb out the well that quick? And then I was like, oh, he definitely went under. Well, he can't hold his breath for long. And that orc just looks for like a couple seconds longer.
Done. He finds him. He gets a promotion from Aldar.
Because the moment he comes out of the well, he's spotted like right away.
Easily. Because he came out like gasping for air. He was on his last breath underwater. Yeah, I'm surprised him coming up for air didn't make a noise, because this dude came out like
right.
This guy was gonna drown under the water. These orcs are terrible, man. These orcs are terrible, and we still don't know what even the significance is of the dagger.
Like, well, they want it.
They want it. Much. That's it.
And they're hell bent on getting it.
They are, and we know it's tied to Sauron too, because Arundir eventually comes back. He saves the day again with Theo, and
he's like, "Come on, you're an elf. Don't touch me."
Wait, did he actually do that?
No, that's what his face said.
Oh, okay. Disgust.
You're right. Look at disgust. Yeah.
But yeah, like he's saved, and then at the end, the guy who actually found the dagger that Theo took it from inside that barn in episode 1.
Oh, that was the guy.
That was the guy, because he came up to him and he's like, I forgot how exactly he delivered it, but he was like, "You're the one that took that blade from my barn." And Theo tried to play it off like, no, I wasn't. And that's when the guy showed him his scar that Theo also had, implying that this guy has also used that dagger. I don't know what this is supposed to imply. I mean, obviously it's tied to Sauron, because he's like, "Are you ready for our Lord Sauron to come back to the life?
Do you know about it? Come off it, lad. Come off it, lad. You know what it is? It's no sword." I'm literally looking at it right now. It's power. Oh, interesting. The conversation. He's basically saying our ancestors crafted it for the Dark Lord.
Because this is the Southlands.
This is they are in the Southlands, right?
And this faction of men were considered people that sided with Morgoth.
Correct.
Okay, that's right. Okay, so okay, that makes sense that there's this random guy that has a dagger worshipping blade that it's gonna tie to Sauron in some way.
Right.
So that's cool. All right. There's our plot thread. Is Theo gonna become evil? I don't know.
Well, I mean, this guy looks normal, this old man. So if he can make it out, I guess Theo can make it out.
He's normal?
I mean, he's not like normal. He's a little loony in the head.
He's very intimidating. I don't know. He's
not like evil. He doesn't try to take the sword from the boy.
Well, I think because he thinks he has him in his clutches because of I imagine you stab yourself with that. It's like shooting up a stream of heroin. Like you're hooked. Now you're hooked to Sauron. So he's like, "Oh, well, you must have stabbed yourself with the dagger." So, and it might be something where he feels that connection because the boy Theo stabbed himself with the dagger. Because
what does this mean?
We don't know.
Could this trigger a transformation in the future?
What, is he gonna become an orc? a man.
No, I was thinking more like, I mean, last week we were talking about the theory of the 9 kings of men who eventually turn into wraiths. Maybe before the 9 kings turn into wraiths, maybe we get our first tease of wraiths.
We could.
For example, Frodo, when Frodo got stabbed by the Morgul blade, they said he would have turned into a wraith if he did not get treatment. So,
which is very interesting. Like, would a hobbit wraith be intimidating?
A little short one just running out of a bush stabbing you real quick. Yeah. Maybe.
Because I mean, I can't imagine because the Nazgul, the raids, they rode horses, right? Like demon horses.
They rode horses and then they rode those dragons.
Right. So I can't imagine a hobbit riding those. So
I mean, he's shrouded. He's just a little shorter than the rest.
Little goblin demon looking raid. I don't know. That's just silly.
I think it'd be funny. Yeah. But yeah,
that's about it.
That's about it. Yeah, Rundir saves him. Yeah, that's about it. I'm enjoying it. It's I'm not like gung ho, but I see the pieces. I like what they're setting up so far. I think I really like this episode too.
Yeah. There were some plot threads that were kind of slow, some that I just didn't care for, like Isildur's sister and the love thing that's blossoming. Watch it be something really important that I should have paid attention to.
They birth somebody and they're like, oh, we know who that kid is.
Exactly.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. We'll see. But I surprisingly I enjoy more of the things that tie into the mythos of like what's going on. So like I really like the dwarving mining section with Elrond and Durin. The whole concept of Mithril. I kind of liked the thing with Galadriel, talking through her teeth saying, we must send an army to defeat the Morgoth and Sauron. That's all right. It's not bad. But when they play into their fantasy elements, that's where I'm more hooked into Rings of Power. And unfortunately, next week we'll get some details on what Nori's been up to.
You'll be all right.
Listen, the only thing that's gonna keep me hooked with, you know what? It's funny. They knew Nori could not sell it on her own, so they brought in something more interesting, which is the nameless, the stranger, right? The stranger, and even he is not grasping my attention that well either. But maybe once you start hearing him speak a little more, because he's starting to learn some speech. And maybe he'll drop some names or he'll learn a few things and we'll get a reveal. Maybe he's someone that we should know. Maybe this is Gandalf. Maybe this is another wizard that Gandalf maybe referred to at one point in the story. We don't know, but we're going to find out next week because we didn't get any this week. So who is going to be, who do you think they're not going to cover next week?
I mean,
because so far they haven't. What is it? Elrond and Durin have taken a turn where they haven't been covered,
and now Nori hasn't been covered.
So who do you think? I don't think Galadriel's ever taking a break because she seems like the main story that's getting pushed forward.
Maybe Arondir will get sidelined. Next week. I mean, what they're building there, it sounds like they're building like a Helm's Deep type of situation, being cooped up in that
those walls where they moved to,
right. And now Adar knows they got the dagger, and they might be on a Helm's Deep type of thing going on, but
right,
maybe they'll pause that one, let that one kind of build, and then send the army that way, and we might have our first big battle. So
All right.
I'm okay. We'll see. We'll see who gets sidelined. I'm okay if somebody does. If the story, I'm okay if someone gets sidelined at the expense of a greater story to be told. So,
Right.
yeah, Nori's on deck next week, so we'll see what her story has in store.
I suppose. If we
Just don't
have
put all
to.
your eggs in one basket.
I know. I don't know, man. Nori's got to do more. Nori's got to do more. She's at the. It's a tie between her and Theo.
The youngest cast members.
Wow, what a shock. What are the odds that the youngest cast members are not selling me when I'm watching their plot threads?
Give it a chance.
Well, 5 episodes.
It's not her fault. Nothing has happened in her story. So
it's not the actress's fault. I'm not saying that. It's
right.
just her story is boring. You
can make the argument. It's okay. Yeah.
I can't. I'm not sucked in yet. If it takes 5 episodes, because next week is the 5th episode, to reel me in, all right. But I have to say, it took 5 episodes for it to happen. Elrond did not need to do that. Durin did not need to do that. Galadriel's a little different. I don't know. We already talked about Galadriel.
Yeah.
And her teeth whispers.
I think you have a big problem with that. I don't think I have that big of an issue.
I don't have a problem with it. It's just I start to notice it when it becomes a consistent thing. Like now, watch. I pointed this out now. I guarantee you, come next week in episode 5, you're gonna come back saying, "Oh my God, she really does talk like that." Why is she talk? No, I mean, I'm sure the actress doesn't talk like that in real life, but to sell the character of how serious and Galadriel is, you gotta talk in very whispers and be serious on what.
It is not that bad, but it is
okay. You say that now. Go ahead. Episode 5.
Okay, we shall see then. Episode 5.
We'll come back on this.
Yeah, we'll come back. But that's it from us here at the Yonko table, folks, covering episode 4 of the Lord of the Rings, the Rings of Power. Still no Rings of Power yet, but in due time, people, in due time. In the meantime, while waiting for the Rings of Power, thank you for listening to us on your various podcast stations. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And of course, big things are popping for us on TikTok. Be sure to catch that wave and get on while you can. And of course, if you ever want to join the discourse that you hear on our show, be sure to join our Discord, where we be chatting and arguing and debating all day long. We love to hear from you. With that, folks, I am your Yonko host, Grandmaster Hoop, fellow Yonko, DrJaceAttorney, and we'll see y'all when we see y'all. Y'all take care.